Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up eyewitness accounts to the research I've uncovered. Now, over the years, people talk about this eyewitness or that eyewitness, talking about the gunman behind the picket fence and stuff. They tell the story, but there's nothing there to show for evidence to back up their story. But as I reveal in my research, there is eyewitness accounts that does back up what can be seen in films, images, and everything else. Just like this lady right here. I apologize, I forgot her name, but we're going to go through this and I'm going to show people what I'm talking about, okay, about an eyewitness account matches what we see. Okay, here is an eyewitness account claiming there was shots struck the manhole cover. Okay, she's claimed shots struck the manhole cover. In this Zapruder film, we can see two bullets striking the manhole cover, one on the side and one on the top corner. And then we also have images after the assassination of Secret Service agents, police officers and them, looking over that manhole cover with a bullet lying in the grass area. She also said there was a bullet retrieved there as well. So see, her story is backed up on what we can see. But her story is never hardly talked about. Her story is never even, people really don't even know who she is. Like I said, I apologize. I don't know her name at this time. I have it in my notes and in my files and stuff, but I've been very busy lately. And I'm trying to make a couple videos here. I already made one. But I just want to, piece all this information together and show people that eyewitness accounts does have evidence to back them up. Like this lady right here. She says shots struck the manhole cover. And we can see it in the Zapruder film, shots striking the manhole cover. And then we have images after that, after the assassination, also shows what she was talking about, police officers and them looking over the manhole cover, which is true. We can see that in the films and images. A bullet they retrieved there, which we also see that as well. So her story is facts. Okay, so her story is true. Now we're going to look at this. Now remember, the Newmans said there was shots came from directly behind them. Okay, when we place the Newmans back in their location, and then we have the gunmen and their locations and stuff. Remember, the Newmans are talked about a little bit, but they're really not talked about that much because they said the shots came from directly behind them. Just like when we look at Mr. Zapruder's first testimony where he said the assassin was right behind him. You know, when we look at this and we piece all this information together and we place everything back in its location and stuff, we see that the Newmans are right here. Mr. Zapruder, Mr. Assessment right here. What's right behind him? Shelter number 3. If you look at the picket fence area, as everybody wants to keep on pushing, that is well off to their right. But when you look at reality of the case, what's directly behind is shelter number 3. Now, like I said, everybody's going to point out these other people's eyewitnesses' stories, but all they're doing is telling us a story. They have no evidence to back it up. But when I put my research together, I have to find eyewitness accounts. We have the eyewitness accounts and we have the evidence to show what they was talking about. Then we could believe them. We could call that story fact. But with other eyewitnesses, they have a story, but there's nothing to prove their case or prove there was gunmen behind a picket fence. All we have is that story. But there is stories told by eyewitnesses that actually are facts. As you see here, the Newmans claim that shots came from directly behind them. What's directly behind them? Shelter number 3. Mr. Zapruder's first testimony says the assassin was right behind him. What's right behind him? Shelter number 3. This can be proven. Their stories can be proven by photographic evidence, by films, images, and everything else. Because in the films and images and stuff, we see 2 shots fired from here, which would be directly over the Newmans' heads, as they claim. And we also know that when the 2 shots fired here was a fatal headshot JFK and a shot to Governor Connally. So you see, there is evidence out there that backs up eyewitness accounts. But people don't want to look at this. People want to sit there and go, oh, well, know this or know that. Okay, we don't hear too much about the Newmans. Even though they're reported here and there, and they'll talk about them a little bit here and there, but they only cut them short. They never give them that full story. They cut them short. Okay, but there is a lot of evidence out there that backs up eyewitness accounts and even eyewitness accounts. Okay, just like eyewitnesses claim that on the day of the assassination at 12 o'clock, they went downstairs to the lunchroom. Oswald asked them to send the elevator backed up. Eyewitnesses claim they did send the elevator backed up. Okay, back up to the 6th floor for Oswald. Then after the assassination, where was that elevator found? On the 2nd floor. Okay, so Oswald had to take the elevator down because that backs up their story. Now, the evidence backs up the eyewitness account story because they claim they send that elevator back up to the 6th floor where Oswald was at 12 o'clock. After 12:30, it was found on the 2nd floor. Okay, right behind the lunchroom because that's where it's at. If you know the location, this is the elevator right here, and there's a lunchroom right here. It was found on this level. So that backs up their story about them sending it up because it came back down and is right back on the 2nd floor. So that's backing up. So what we can see, their story is true because there's evidence that shows their story is true. Just like here we got right here. We have Senator Yarborough claiming that when he got in this location here, he smelled that smoke. Okay, he smelled gun residue. Okay, which is true. He would smell that because the shots came from right here. And as the smoke is trailing over, and as you see in this image here, which I'll zoom in and I point this out all the time, we can see the Newmans right here. And when we look at the location of Senator Yarborough, where is he at? He's in this location right here. So we have the Newmans right here. As you see right here, here's the Newmans. There's the smoke. So the smoke's up in here. And by the time Senator Yarborough and them got right here, that smoke is right up in this location here because we also see some smoke right here as well. So we have smoke here and we have smoke here. This is from the first shot. This is from the second shot. Okay. And that's what they're smelling when they're running right into it. They're running right into that gun residue as they're coming down here because of that smoke trail coming right here because the smoke is coming down this way. So his story is backed up as well of what we can see. Just like when we look at this image right here, remember, Governor Collins said he heard 2 shots and he would see it by the second shot. If we watch the Zapruder film, he said he was looking off to his right. And then he heard the first shot and he was trying to look back at JFK, but he couldn't see him, so he started turning around to his left. As soon as he started turning to his left, he heard the second shot and he felt a blow to his back and he lands over into his wife's lap. Well, you can see that from beginning frames when we watch the Zapruder film, we'll see Governor Collins looking off to his right the whole time. And then by frame after the fatal headshot to JFK, which would be the first shot he said he heard, he looked back and then he starts turning over to his left. By frame 315, he starts turning around over to his left. And then he was struck in the back by frame 330 of the Zapruder film. And then we can see the bullet impact in the back of Governor Collins because he's turning around to his left now. And we see the bullet impact to the back of Governor Collins and he falls over into his wife's lap. So what his story that he tells, we can also back it up by photographic evidence because it matches his story, what he was talking about. Okay, because the first headshot came right here. That's the JFK. Second shot here. Now, like I said, he heard 2 shots. Only 2 shots he can hear. The reason why he only heard 2 shots because remember, Oswald's on the inside, above ground level, on the 6th floor. Gunman on the inside of shelter in Texas. Excuse me. The county records building, we got the gunman on the 2nd floor inside of the building, and then we have the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, which is way above ground level. So these shots he could not hear. There was sound like little pops or firecrackers, which he also said he heard as well, firecrackers. And other people said he heard firecrackers, but that was these shots here. Just like James Tague. James Tague said he only heard 2 shots. Only shots he actually heard was the 2 shots that came from shelter number 3. But he also said he was wounded by the second shot where the bullet struck the curb and a piece of curb came up and struck him in the face. That was the second shot. But that indicates to me that there was 2 shots fired at the same time because 1 shot's fired here. That's a Governor Collins. We can see that. It matches his story and stuff. So where did the other shot came from? See, no one ever paying attention to that. Matching that story up to what we can see. They never do that. They just go by the story and they make them as individuals and stuff. But you got to remember one thing. When you're matching up these stories, we have Governor Collins hearing 2 shots and he was struck by the second shot. We hear James Tague saying he heard 2 shots, but he was struck by the second shot. So we have 2 different locations from these gunmen, from these eyewitnesses, but in different locations. So there had been 2 shots fired at the same time for both men to get struck at that point. That's what I'm trying to point out. That's what I'm trying to talk about. But people don't understand that. That's why when I do my research and stuff, I have to line up eyewitness accounts. If the eyewitness accounts does not match up what can be seen, then we cannot believe that. But there is eyewitnesses out there that tells their story, and it can be proven by photographic evidence, and it can be backed up by films, images, and everything else as well. Okay, I just want to make a short video here to point out some facts that there is eyewitnesses accounts that does match what can be seen in films and images. And that's how I uncover a lot of my research, of my evidence as well, because I'm listening to some of the eyewitnesses. Now, the eyewitnesses I don't listen to, and I find out they're false stories, is the people that's claimed there was a gunman behind a picket fence area, which there's no evidence to back it up. But the other eyewitnesses that where we can see what they're telling us, and we can see this, we have to believe, because not only we can hear their story, but we can see their story unfold right in front of our eyes as well. So I want to make this video here to show a little bit more evidence and stuff like that, and show there is eyewitnesses out there that does match the story on what we see and everything else. So they're actually telling the truth. The other ones now, they're false accusations, they're false claims and stuff to get their names out there and stuff. But I'll make another video on that later on. So don't forget that like button, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to tell your friends about it, share this video and this information with other people that they may know this information. Always in the description down below you find a site where you can order my book, Evidence of Conspiracy, the only book you ever need in JFK assassination. Thank you, and you have a pleasant day.